We're back. To start the second segment, we're going to get into a little more in-depth questions. Jim, we'll start with you. What do you see as the biggest problem facing the state?
Well, you try to limit that down to one issue, but there's multiple issues at stake right now. Of course, the budget, the economy, the fact of Indiana is just like the other 49 states. They're strapped for money. Revenues are down. What's interesting was the legislature past session calculated an increase in revenues, which I can't understand how they could come up with a formula that they thought was going to be an increase. They was planning on 2.5%. Actually, it was a 15% nosedive. But money is top issue, but also we have the issue of jobs, and everybody's talking about jobs. And of course, the party people and a lot of your candidates, they want to stay on just the issue of jobs. That's important. There are also a lot more important topics. But jobs, I hear them talking about jobs in the form of infrastructure jobs and stuff. Well, you know what? That's all well and good. But when you build a bridge, you build a road, after the bridge and road's done, the jobs are over. What we need is heavy manufacturing jobs. This is something I've been a lone candidate talking about. We need heavy manufacturing jobs back in this state. At one time we had Bucyrus-Syria, Mesker Steel, and International Steel, and L. Berman's, and Hahn Equipment, and on and on. We had all these major manufacturers. We need jobs that produce equipment and heavy manufacturing jobs so that there's a place a person can go to after high school. Not everybody's going to go to college. They're looking for a job after high school that they can start their livelihoods with. A job that will provide 3 shifts a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week. And that can be done. They're out there. I mean, every day we buy products that are made somewhere. Lawnmowers, weed eaters, trimmers, ceiling fans. We buy those products. They're made somewhere. They need to be made here in Evansville. They need to be made in Indiana. And it can be done. I've worked on a project a few years ago in 2006 to bring jobs into the state of Indiana, in particular to the Crane Naval Facility. I worked on it by myself as just a citizen. I had somewhat of a success on that. But I know that these things can be done. I don't like it when I hear somebody tell me, a politician tell me, or a candidate tell me they're going to create jobs. That doesn't happen. But as a senator, there is a way, and I know how to do that, to go get the jobs to bring them here. I know how to do that because I've been involved in that already as just a citizen. So this is an important issue. Like I say, Jamie, there's so many issues at stake. We can talk about the abortion issue in Indiana. I want to see Indiana eliminate abortion. I want to see Planned Parenthood defunded. This is an important issue for a lot of people. Same-sex marriage. We never hear a candidate nowhere. These guys won't come within 10 miles of these divisive issues. I will speak. I'm the only one talking about this. Indiana's going to be faced with legislation sooner or later that's going to try to force Indiana to be a state to accept same-sex marriages. I don't want that in Indiana. I don't want that like D.C. just adopted a few weeks back. And other states, I think now 6 states have adopted. So there's a lot of issues at stake right now. Immigration. You don't hear any candidates talk about immigration. That's a major problem here in Indiana. I think there's like 45,000 illegal immigrants right now in Indiana. Indiana ranks like 24th in the nation with illegals, and the numbers are climbing. The illegal immigration affects the job market. It affects our health insurance in the state, schooling. That's a major issue. So when you say the question is, what one issue do you think is the most important? That's very difficult because we have so many and they rank on the same level. So we can't hold it down to just one issue. And they're all intertwined. So I'm willing to take on any issue. I'll discuss any topic anywhere to anybody. But let's be sure that we understand that it's not just one problem we're dealing with. Let's not get it in our minds that we only have one real important issue to work out. As a state senator, I know there's a lot of them, and I'm willing to take them all on, and I do have solutions.
Thank you. Andrew?
The single biggest issue facing the Indiana General Assembly right now is that budget. And in 2011, we will craft probably the most important budget that we've ever crafted in our history. There will be tremendous pressure for a tax increase, and so there are many issues that are important in Indiana right now, jobs being the most important for Hoosiers, and the way that those are all intertwined is through that budget, and we can, as state senator, control how we shape those for the future, those issues, and how we prioritize them for the future. So, and on the job side of things, it's about putting people to work. It's about creating an environment, creating an investment environment that allows small businesses to create jobs one at a time. The fastest way to replace the 1,100 jobs we're losing at Whirlpool is one at a time. Specifically, let's focus on, I'm a small business owner. I run a business in good times and in bad times. I've employed people, and when you have that experience, knowing how to put people to work, I've worked with local and regional economic development organizations, and it's about making connections. It's about building relationships, and fundamentally creating jobs one at a time. So the single biggest issue right now for the Indiana General Assembly, without a doubt, is the budget. The single biggest issue right now for Hoosiers is jobs.
Thank you. So far, 2 states have passed resolutions reaffirming the 10th Amendment, which deals with individual states' rights. With the growing sentiment that government is expanding too big and too fast, would you support such measure in the state of Indiana?
Well, we certainly must limit the growing scope of government, and it's the job of every state legislator to understand and to know and understand the Constitution of Indiana and the Constitution of the United States, and to defend vigorously any encroachment on the part of the federal government. And so I believe you're asking, would you support a resolution as other states have, and certainly in theory, I would support staking Indiana's claim to our state's rights.
Okay, great. Thank you. Jim?
Well, that's a good question, and probably that's where we might differ a little bit, because it's important that we support this 10th Amendment. And I want to go beyond just supporting the resolution, because resolution doesn't have any teeth in it. We need legislation. We need a bill to establish our state sovereignty. And this is what's critical. That's what the problem we're dealing with right now. We got too many legislators up right now that's willing to go along with just supporting resolutions. We've got to have somebody who will take the lead. I talked a while ago about being the point man. We've got to have somebody that will step up and introduce legislation in the form of a bill that can become law that will establish Indiana's state sovereignty away from this overbearing, out-of-control federal government. The line is being drawn right now, where the federal government is now dictating to states what they will do, and they do it in so many forms. One of them, you might call it a form of blackmail. You want highway funding? We'll give you highway funding, but there's mandates that go along with it. You will implement these sort of mandates in your state. It might be seatbelt laws, it might be speed limit laws, it might be some form of legislation they want done in the state of Indiana in order to get this federal funding. This is where we've got to draw the separation between the federal government and the states. You don't do it with resolutions. It's been done many, many times. Every year there's a resolution where the senators or the House members will sign on. But that doesn't get the job done. We've got to have something that's got the grit and the teeth in it that will truly establish our state sovereignty. And this is why I keep talking about our liberty and freedom. Folks, I'm telling you, we can talk about jobs, we can talk about money, we can talk about schools and budgets. All over the world, I've said this before, there's jobs, there's economy, there's education, all over the world, any country. But not every country has freedom and liberty. Not every country has a Bill of Rights, a Constitution. Only the United States has a Bill of Rights. These other countries, France has got some lame piece of Bill of Rights, Canada's got something, it has nothing, it's nothing. Only the United States has a document that has a solid Bill of Rights. If we lose that, and we are because it's under attack from the federal government, they're setting the pace. The states are going to have to build a wall of defense. And it's going to take legislators. I'm one of them can do that.
Thank you. Okay. Okay.